Right, well, as we can see here, there has been some work done. The garage is basically complete, at least at the side and the top and the front. One of the boundary walls to the end of the property has been built. The flint panels I actually did myself. They were done last weekend. And that is one section of the wall which will follow along, as you can see, where the footings are and form the gates of the drive. So this is the entrance that we're building for this particular property, and there you can see there's a curve coming through on that wall, and there'll be gates across here, and then we'll be coming into the driveway for this house with the garage straight ahead. We've now worked the levels out for this property, and everything will be on one level, which is going to be quite good, really. I mean, it'll be really interesting for everyone that it's all on one level, and you've got a play area which will have with some artificial grass at the far end over there, and when you park your car here you can walk straight across into the house from here. This section here, we're planning to lay porcelain tiles and then have an artificial grass area, as I say, and then here this will be paviers, because this will be the driveway, quite a large driveway. There will be a terraced area, small terraced area that goes on the edge of the property all the way around the building. Actually, it will be that way with the curb. We started to build the wall on this end of the terrace, which will be the boundary wall. It goes up to the height of that. That will be the boundary wall between this property and the next one. Right, well, this house, quite a bit of work's been done. A lot of the walls have been worked on, as you can see, and there's a much better idea now of what it's looking like. We're working on getting most of this plastered in the next week or two, or probably the next week actually. This room, for example, here, which is a study stroke bedroom, is mostly plastered. There's wall to be finished here, but this will be done in the next day or so. Shower room, which is looks a mess at the moment, but will soon be a room. And in here, this is the stairwell. Obviously the problem is we have no stairs at the moment in any of the properties, but the actual stairwell itself is coming on. This wall will be plastered next week. The one ahead of us here is tiled, and we're now in the middle of boarding this one here where the windows are, and that will be plastered as well next week. Now in here we've got the kitchen, dining and living area, and that is nearing completion in terms of construction. So we've got this room here, which is largely complete now. I think we've got skirting boards to go on next week, finishing off some of the trim around the windows, and as you can see, it's starting to take shape. Get a better idea of what it will look like when it's finally decorated. There's a number of features that I've still got to develop. I've got some brickwork on top of this little wall here, and a wooden feature to go on. And I'm going to change the underneath of this bulkhead But we'll see what that looks like in the next week or two when the carpenters are in to get that done. One of the main moves forward, I guess, is that the building has now been clad. So all of the cladding, well, actually there's a small bit I'm now going to add, but that's a different issue. But the building itself now has been clad, and it certainly looks a lot different. It looks improved for that. The section that, the bottom section there on the ground floor, that is going to be rendered. That's the cladding does end there, where it's the bottom of, I don't know, where at the top of that window. Obviously, all of this area has still got to be built, and that's what we are working on at the moment. We've got to get all the area up here up to plate height, which includes the pier, which got to go to the ridge height, center pier, and all the walls for the garage and the laundry room over there have got to go up to plate height, and then we can have this roof extended out to the end, so that roof will come all the way up to this point here. And actually, to make that easier, I've decided to take the scaffold down and work off towers, because we want to get a lot of the drains put in here in this area and build up the oversight there. Just putting in a bit of a wall here, finishing that off, and tidying it up really so that the levels here can be sorted out next week. And this gives you a better view really of the building with the cladding done. Certainly, it certainly improves the building in my view. It has more of the barn effect, or the barn appearance that I wanted to get from the building. And the oak posts look really nice. When we've got the little terracing in front with the paviers that are going to be in this charcoal color at the bottom in front of the building, that will actually also improve it. I think it'll balance it a bit. At the moment it looks a bit top heavy with the dark at the top, but the intention was to have the same color, this charcoal color or anthracite, running around the bottom of the building, which will balance it nicely. So we'll see how it goes in the next week or two. Right, well, here we are again. This is another example of one of the aspects of the build that I'm changing. Now, in the original design concept, this porch was all brick going up this gable, but I wasn't happy with the look of it at all, so I've decided to put this cladding in the top part, and hopefully by tonight it will be complete and it'll look a lot nicer. I just think it can look completely out of place the way it was. It'll follow more the flow of the line of the building with the brick at the bottom and the cladding at the top. I think you can see how that area there will be a look better, I think, being dark. I think it will change the perspective of the porch as well, because this porch, unlike the others, hasn't got glass above it, above the door. Obviously the door will have a window there at the side, and that will look quite nice. And then when we've got the terrace running around the bottom, around the building with the dark tiles, and they're going to be almost the same color as the cladding and the tiles on the roof. Let's have a look at them. Right, well, these are the tiles. So we've got the anthracite, or charcoal as these ones are called, paviers that'll go against the brickwork, against the building. And then this design here, which is a basket weave, that one on the end, that's what will be running around the entire surface just around the building. with a curb coming to it. So in actual fact, the raised bit from the road will only be coming out about a metre, which is about that distance there. So let's have a look, see what we got upstairs now as well, because this flat's coming on quite nice. We've been in here working in here and finished the brickwork up to the ceiling. Ceiling's been boarded, and that will be plastered probably next week. And this wall here has got to be done. That'll be boarded out and plastered. Now, what I'm doing with this boarding is I'm laminating or sticking the board to the walls very tightly, as opposed to dot and dab, which is sort of popular at the moment, which I can't stand. I didn't want, because you end up with a small cavity between the board and the actual wall. But what we're doing here is we're laminating the board tight to the blockwork, so it's very solid. This is what's been done here, and this is board now. Instead of rendering the blockwork with sand and cement as I originally intended, I've decided to save the mess and everything else. I've laminated the board and then skimmed it, which is what we've done here, and this is much more solid wall. So this wall's been done, and as you can see, it's quite an impressive stairwell. Once we take all the protective film away, we've got a nice return here, little edge, and it comes along. And the staircase obviously is coming up here. Let's have a look. So we'll be coming in here, and the staircase will be going up, and it'll have a half landing, and then it'll go up on that side where that ladder is. And that's why we haven't tiled down to the floor, because that will eventually be behind where there'll be a cupboard or something under the stairs. That will be boarded out and plastered. So in the next few days, let's have a look upstairs, see what we got. So we've plastered quite a bit up here. Stairwell, which is beautiful, beautiful staircase here, stairwell. And this landing is just lovely. Very high ceilings, very airy atmosphere, very open here, lots of daylight. The beams up there, they will be covered in yellow pine, well that one is, and be a lovely effect. There are some timbers still to go on the ceiling here, and this aspect with this window and this beautiful shape. Now there is wooden, that yellow pine that's going in here to be filled in this space here. So that will be done in the next few weeks, and this will be an absolutely gorgeous landing with a glass balustrade there with oak handrail. It's a lovely flat, beautiful bedroom that's now ready to be prepped. We've got skirting board to go in. This is all just the leftovers now from it being plastered. It's all a bit of a mess, but it's all waiting now to be tidied up, cleaned, and got ready for decorating. Looks a disaster area at the moment, but I'm hoping that in a week or two things will look completely different. There's the view of the woods from the window, and when all the ramshackle buildings that I've got there are sorted out, as it were, there'll be a lovely view here for people with trees all around them. Yes, and when you come back into the bedroom, Got a lovely view from this side of the house, of the fields and neighbours, but it's all very rural and pleasant. And the bedroom itself is lovely because it's got this beautiful high ceiling and these timbers that go across, and they've got LEDs running along the tops of the beams, which you can turn on independently and have the ceiling lit up, as it were, which is quite pleasant. Built-in cupboards here, which are not yet complete, obviously. So when we clear all this away, we'll get all the second fixings done on this bedroom. This will be a lovely bedroom. This is just a really, really nice flat. Very impressive, I think. The bathroom is superb in here, with a shower and lots of little details. And this is a sort of soap dish area with a light shining above that. And the same here, we've got LEDs that will be running along the back of that. And this will have a mirror in the back. This is a beautiful little feature here in this bathroom. I think it's a beautiful bathroom. Absolutely lovely. Unusual tiles. And the colour scheme, I think, is terrific. So we've got this dark wall here and sort of band running down there in the shower. Absolutely lovely in here. We haven't done the floor in here yet because there is a raised floor going in this flat, which is part of the sound deadening system that we're putting in. So sound deadening matting goes down on this, and then I think there's some little metal pieces that a second floor sits on. So all of this is designed to cut down the noise between this flat and the one below. And there's double boarding on the ceilings and acoustic boards being used and acoustic stuffing in between. So all in all, hopefully this will be as the noise from this flat will be as deadened as possible to have. Anyway, let's have a look what else we've got. Oh, and as we go by, just look, these are the marble tiles that are going into the bathroom in this top flat that we just looked at. These are like beautiful. They're a matte, non-slip marble tile. They've got a lovely texture to them, really grippy sort of matte surface to them. Really, really nice tiles. So finally, I think this area here, which is the outside area for this house, difficult to visualize it at the moment, but it is coming along a little bit. We've got these piers built, and they will be lovely with beautiful clad ceiling, which is in sawn timber, and lights, wooden lights that I've built with LEDs in them on these columns here, these oak columns. So this will be all lit, and it'll all be undercover but outside. It's an absolutely beautiful area, I think, and one that for somebody who wants to be outside entertaining and everything, it's a beautiful area. And these massive brick piers, and all of this will be underneath a sort of barn effect, because this roof is continuing all the way across, but you're outside here, so it will be a lovely environment, beautiful place, and more space around here. This is all being built here at the moment, so hopefully in the next week or two this will show a great improvement, because we're going to take all these walls up now, all these piers up in the next week or two. And this laundry room, build this. The garage is coming up. This here is the back door to the house effectively. Goes out into the driveway, and this is the door that goes into the garage. And the garage is a lot better than it was before. Starting to get the walls up to the plate height. And this garage, I built it with face bricks so that it's not block garage. It's a beautiful garage with beautiful finish inside. Quite a luxurious garage actually. And you can see it's got a window in it that you can see into the back of the house. Yeah, all in all, should be really nice. Well, that's a little bit of an update. It looks a bit of a mess, but it is moving on, all things being considered. But I'm really pleased with that building, and I'm certainly pleased that it's finally clad. But I will be more pleased with the whole thing when it's finished. And I like my flint work. There's panels that I've done there. And that's my panel that I did a few weeks ago, and another one over here. Yeah, we've got the windows to fit in here, so hopefully in the next week or two we might get around to fitting the windows. It will look a bit better than here. Okay, that's it for now, I think. Right, well, it's a few hours later, and we've finished the cladding on the front of the porch, and I'm thinking that that's looking a lot better. Interestingly, the materials, most of them, including the wire grate underneath, I pulled out of the skip over there, where they've been thrown as being scrap. But I'm pleased with the porch. Let's have a look at it from a distance. Right, well, I think that shows you that it looks a bit better now. The line of cladding is in line with the building and in line with the roof. So that was a good little job done there today. Yeah, quite pleased with that. Anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow.